Hey guys, welcome to Sunday School again. Well, the Sunday School video at least. I know we're not still back in church, but we have a great Bible story to talk about today. And today we're going to talk about some things that don't always seem to be what they are. Some things that aren't really real. For example, would you believe me if I told you that I used to be the Statue of Liberty until I got fired for not standing still enough? Or what if I told you that my husband is really Superman? No, I didn't think you'd believe either of those things, but sometimes it's kind of fun to pretend. Now, if you like to dress up for Halloween or you like to dress up for pretend, I think now would be a great time to pause the video, go find something to put on that makes you look really silly, and come back and watch the video, okay? Okay, hit pause. Okay, is everybody back? Do we all look silly? All right, let's talk about our story for today. Our story today reminds me of these pictures. Things that look real, but they're really not. Look at the top picture. If I handed you this, wouldn't you think I was giving you a cucumber? But in the bottom picture, you can see it's really a banana. And look at this. Would you like some of this yummy ice cream? Actually, look a little closer. That's mashed potatoes with bacon, cheese, sour cream, and a cherry tomato. It sounds kind of good, but if you're expecting ice cream, that would be kind of not a good surprise. And how would you like to take a bite of this juicy burger? Well, I hope you like cake because this is actually a cupcake. And how many of you like corn on the cob? Ooh, I know I do, and that season's coming up soon. But look a little closer. How about candy corn on a cob? Oh yeah, I'd give that a try. In your inbox for this week, you'll find this. It tells you about some ways to make snacks that are impressions of something else and some fun family ideas. And my favorite question that I hope you talk about with your family is, what do you wish God would do to prove He's real? In today's Bible story, we're going to hear about a time when God proved to everyone that He's real. Let's find out how. So today we're going to meet one of God's prophets named Elijah. And you remember, a prophet is somebody who God tells something and they go and tell other people. Okay, we're also going to meet a man named Obadiah. And Obadiah loved God. He took 100 prophets who were at risk of being harmed, and he hid them in caves, and he brought them food and water every day. Obadiah was a really great guy. You know what? Someday when you grow up and have kids, you might think about naming one of them Obadiah. That would be a great name. Okay, then we're going to meet King Ahab. King Ahab did not love God. He loved false gods. What's a false god? Something that's not a god at all, something that's totally made up and not real. And Ahab's wife, Jezebel. Jezebel hated the prophets of the Lord. She hated Elijah. She hated Obadiah. She's the one who tried to kill 100 prophets that Obadiah was saving in the cave. So when you grow up and you have kids, don't name one of them Jezebel. Okay, so at the time of this story, they were in Samaria and there was a famine. And a famine in the Old Testament was usually when there was no rain, so all the plants died and the animals didn't have anything to eat, so the people didn't have anything to eat, and it was not a very good time at all. After many days, the word of the Lord came to Elijah in the 3rd year, saying, "Go show yourself to Ahab, and I will send rain upon the earth." And they really needed rain because of the famine. So Elijah went to show himself to Ahab. Now the famine was severe in Samaria, and Ahab called Obadiah, who was over the household. And Ahab said to Obadiah, "Go through the land to all the springs of water, to all the valleys. Perhaps we may find grass and save the horses and mules alive, and not lose some of the animals." So they divided the land between them to pass through it. Ahab went in one direction by himself, and Obadiah went in another direction by himself. As Obadiah was walking along, Elijah met him. Obadiah recognized him, bowed to the ground, and said, "Is it really you, my lord Elijah?" "Yes," he replied. "Go tell your master, Elijah is here." "What have I done wrong," asked Obadiah, "that you are handing your servant over to Ahab to be put to death? As surely as the Lord your God lives, there is not a nation or kingdom where my master has not sent someone to look for you. And whenever a nation or a kingdom claimed you were not there, he made them swear they could not find you. But now you tell me to go to my master and say, 'Oh, Elijah's here.' I don't know where the Spirit of the Lord may carry you when I leave. If I go tell Ahab and he doesn't find you, he's going to kill me." Elijah said, "As the Lord Almighty lives, whom I serve, I will surely present myself to Ahab today." So Obadiah went to meet Ahab and told him, and Ahab went to meet Elijah. And when Ahab saw Elijah, he said to him, "Is that you, O troubler of Israel?" Ahab did not like Elijah very much at all, and that wasn't very nice to say. Elijah said, "I have not made trouble for Israel, but you and your father's family have. You have abandoned the Lord's commands and have followed the Baals." Those are the false gods who can't do anything. "Now summon the people from all over Israel to meet me on Mount Carmel, and bring the 450 prophets of Baal." Baal has a lot of prophets for being nothing kind of god. "And 400 prophets of Asherah, who also isn't a god, who eat at Jezebel's table." So Ahab sent word throughout all Israel and assembled the prophets on Mount Carmel. Elijah went before the people and said, "How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal is God, follow him." And the people said nothing. Then Elijah said to them, "I am the only one of the Lord's prophets left. But Baal has 450 prophets. Get 2 bulls for us. Let Baal's prophets choose one for themselves, and let them cut it into pieces, put it on the wood, but don't set fire to it. I will prepare the other bull, put it on the wood, but I won't set fire to it. Then you can call on the name of your God. I will call on the name of the Lord. The God who answers by fire, he is God." Then all the people said, "What you say is good." Elijah said to the prophets of Baal, "Choose one of the bulls and prepare it, since there are so many of you. Call on the name of your God, but do not light the fire." So they took the bull given them and prepared it. Then they called on the name of Baal. From morning till noon, "Baal, answer us," they shouted. But there was no response. No one answered, because Baal isn't real. And they danced around the altar they made. At noon, Elijah began to taunt them. "Shout louder," he said. "Surely he is God. Perhaps he's deep in thought, or maybe busy traveling. Maybe he's sleeping and you have to wake him up." So they did shout louder. And still there was no response. No one answered. No one paid attention. Then Elijah said to all the people, "Come here to me." They came to him, and he repaired the altar of the Lord, which had been torn down. Elijah took 12 stones, one for each of the tribes descended from Jacob, to whom the word of the Lord has come, saying, "Your name shall be Israel." With the stones he built an altar in the name of the Lord. He dug a trench around it, like a big hole or a ditch kind of around it, large enough to hold 2 sheaths of seed. He arranged the wood, cut the bull into pieces, and laid it on the wood. Then he said to them, "Fill 4 large jars with water, and pour it on the offering and on the wood." What? When you go camping, do you pour water on your wood before you try to light it on fire? No way. This is not going to work. Then he said, "Do it again." 4 more jars? Do it again. And they did it again. "Do it a 3rd time," he said. And they did it a 3rd time. The water ran down around the altar and filled the little ditch that they had dug. At the time of the sacrifice, the prophet Elijah stepped forward and prayed, "Lord, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known today that you are God in Israel, and that I am your servant, and I have done all things at your command. Answer me, Lord, answer me, so these people will know that you, Lord, are God, and that you are turning their hearts back again." Then the fire of the Lord fell and burned up the sacrifice, the wood, the stones, the soil, and all the water in the trench. When all the people saw this, they fell on their faces and cried, "The Lord, he is God! The Lord, he is God!" love it that in this story, God made it so clear that He is real. And if we think about our question that we talked about earlier, what do you wish God would do to show you that He is real? The truth is, we don't really need any more proof than we already have. God has shown us countless times throughout the Bible, not just in this instance where He set fire to an altar covered in water, but He also sent His Son to come live on the earth, to do miracles, to die and rise again from the dead. And that proves that He is real, and we can trust in Him always. Next week, we're going to hear about a man named Elisha and hear more about how awesome our God is. Until then, God bless you.